What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about the new Leigh Whannel film, Upgrade.
If I could find those men, I'd do it.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? I call it STEM.
Now, if you don't know Leigh Whannel, he first made a big name for himself by co-writing, I think, the first 3 Saw films, and then moving on to the Insidious franchise. I believe this is his second directorial effort. I think he made one of the Insidious films, but here this is him making a case for himself as a director. This is his sort of breakthrough. And I think he makes an absolutely great case for his abilities as a genre director. So Upgrade is set in the future and is about a man, a technophobe of sorts, who has to turn to technology to help him take revenge for the death of his wife after he is paralyzed by the attackers. Now, that premise isn't exactly original, but what Leigh Whannel adds is a distinctive style, layered characterization, and a really interesting sort of grimy, seedy idea of the future. A kind of future that's almost like if Scorsese had directed Blade Runner. It's very restrained, very low-key, maybe because of the budget, but the future here seems like a very believable, plausible direction for our society to go to. And I thought that was a very interesting sort of setting for this type of revenge story.
Anybody else hear you?
No, only you. May I point something out? In the drone surveillance footage, Sir Brantner, Marine Corps, address 414 Citrus, New
Revenge story. Another interesting direction that this film takes is that the computer chip that is implanted into our hero's body, a STEM, he's a thinking, conscious thing that has its own voice and interacts with our hero, Gray, throughout the movie, which really helped to change up the pace, because now it's not just a case of our hero going around trying to kill people, but now it's about him having to work together with this mysterious form of technology that he doesn't really understand. Logan Marshall Green plays our protagonist, Gray, here, and he's a budding character actor who I've seen in a few things. But like Leigh Whannel, he's making a case here for himself as a leading man, and I think he shows a lot of potential. I think he brings a very relatable quality to this character. He doesn't turn to any over-the-top theatrics to convey his grief. That's one of the things I like about this movie, is how it actually does handle the subject of grief fairly sophisticated for a revenge film, because grief is not this big over-the-top thing like movies portray it a lot of the times. It's this quiet sort of thing that boils under the surface and just really festers inside of you. And I think Logan Marshall Green and Leigh Whannel both capture that brilliantly here. And the last thing I want to mention really are the action scenes. Now, the action scenes are interesting for 2 reasons. One, because they're some of the more well-shot and well-choreographed action scenes you're going to see anywhere in movies today. I like the little sort of 70s throwback, but it's got its own interesting style and flavor to it. Mainly because of my second reason, that Logan Marshall Green has to do these action scenes, these elaborate fight scenes, while acting that he is not in control of his body. He has to act as if STEM is taken over, and so he's doing all these martial arts while his face is totally detached from the rest of his body, which is amazing to me, because, I mean, doing those kind of fight scenes consciously alone is hard, but to layer that kind of performance on top of it, well, hats off to you, man. Now, the movie is not perfect. Plotting-wise, there are a few issues, and this actually goes back to an issue I've had with Leigh Whannel's writing from those first couple of Saw movies. The plot twists are pretty interesting. I mean, I certainly didn't see them coming, but then you stop to think about it, and once you start pulling that thread, the whole thing starts to unravel. Now, I don't want to go into details, obviously. This isn't going to be a spoiler review, so I still obviously encourage everybody to go out and see it if they're interested, but be prepared for some plot twists that don't really hold up to critical thinking that well. Also, the villains are a little subpar. I mean, they're kind of more in the background, so it's not a big deal. But most of them really are these nondescript thugs that you don't learn much about. And even the ones you do know more about, they're a little cliche. There's one guy, the sort of head of these muggers. He's kind of creepy. He has a nice little weird presence to him. But at the end of the day, he's a bit of a stereotype, so I just don't think the villains are that noteworthy. But again, they are in the background, and I don't really think that ruined the movie for me or anything. So guys, if you are a fan of revenge films, action films, sci-fi films, I highly encourage you to see this movie. It is very well directed, very well written, acted, and it's just exciting filmmaking that I don't see that often in movies nowadays, to be honest. Now again, the plotting is a bit messy here, but if you focus on the characters and the action, I think you can really overlook that fine. So guys, those are my thoughts on Upgrade. Have you seen it? Have you not? If you have, what are your thoughts? If you haven't, why not? Go ahead and comment that below. And if you like this video, go ahead and click the subscribe button for more content in the future.